Hey, what's up guys, John here. Could you imagine in America with price controls where you're told how much you can sell your product or service for?
A lot of these price increases are potentially due to just straight price gouging by corporations.
Chevron, Exxon have doubled their profits. This isn't about inflation, this is about price gouging.
Corporations feel freed up to finally just admit we made more money because we raised the prices.
And if you violate this, you could be fined or potentially even put in jail. Could you imagine a world like this? What about a world with a universal basic income?
Universal basic income pilot projects have taken root across the country.
The programs provide select people with a monthly, no strings attached stipend.
Might sound far-fetched. What if I were to tell you all this is already in the works? This is what is likely coming for America. And Americans need to be prepared for this new normal because I think a lot of people might write this off and say, not going to happen. But what if I were to tell you, here's the facts. I'm going to show you the facts. This is what CNN's saying. The Guardian, CNBC, Elizabeth Warren. This is all already happening. People need to be really prepared for this new normal because I think it's going to be very different than anything we've ever experienced in the past. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's happening in America. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. I believe the next 1 to 2 years will be the most important to build wealth. And after that, I think it's going to be a lot harder. So if you have issues on your credit report, square it away now so you can put yourself in a really, really strong position to take advantage of what I think is going to be the greatest rug pull in American history. Take a look at this. CNN came out, said this on the 20th, right? So follow the dates here. White House eager to promote dropping prices this Thanksgiving season amid campaign headwinds. Okay. The Guardian came out 2 days ago, Monday, 27th, saying Biden plans to use Cold War era law in attempt to lower U.S. prices. Now, what is the Cold War era law? Here it is. Price stabilization during a period of Cold War. Direct price controls have been in the use of anti-inflationary measures for slightly over 2 years. Now, with the change in administration, a re-examination of the entire problem of inflation and the direct and indirect controls which have been employed to countermeasures in this order. So, indirect controls such as high taxes, credit restraints, and other devices of fiscal and monetary policy must be the first in line of defense against inflation. Agreement on this is almost universal, even though there is diversity of opinion on how such controls should be administered. While recognizing the importance of indirect controls, we are concerned solely with the price control phase of stabilization of Cold War era economy, right? During the Cold War era economy, what happened was a black market ensued, and you had sellers selling products, 100%, 200%, 500%, 1,000% over retail price because people, they needed something. And when you have price controls, the government's essentially telling you what you can sell a product or service for. But if that product or service costs more than what the government says you're allowed to sell it for, you're out of business. So what do people do? They start selling things in the black market, right? But there's only so many sellers, and there's a rampant supply of buyers. So supply and demand have a very, very big impact on price. Prices just continue to rocket up. So amid the shortage experienced during World War II, many people relied on the black market to obtain food and other necessary items illegally. The black market facilitated resistance and survival, but it also provided opportunities for people to enrich themselves at the expense of others in need. This is what I believe is likely going to happen. So when you look at what the CNBC, this came out today, November 29th, White House puts corporate price gouging front and center. We see American families hurting. So when you scroll down to the bottom here, it says whether it's junk fees, whether it's price gouging, whether it's calling out big oil, we're going to continue to do that, right? Because it's price gouging. We see American families hurting. So it's going to go a lot more than just calling these people out. Look at what's happening right now with the CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and the White House. So consumers charge $130 billion in interest in fees. Credit card companies charge borrowers the highest amount in interest in fees ever measured by CFPB's data. Cardholders were charged over $105 billion in interest in 2022, along with $25 billion in fees. Well, look at this. American cardholders paying $130 billion in interest. And when you look at what they want to do, White House, this is White House right here, Biden administration, Biden-Harris administration, the CFPB proposes a rule that, if finalized, the proposal would lower credit card late fees approximately $30 to $8. Now, many people might say that's a great thing. You have to realize credit card defaults are going through the roof right now. On subprime borrowers, which is a pretty good chunk of America, you're like 8-9%. I mean, you're almost in line with a payday loan and installment loan. So you have all these credit card companies, sure, they made a lot of money the last couple of years. But would you want to be a credit card company going into 2024, 2025 with, 1.1 trillion in outstanding credit card or consumer debt, knowing a lot of these consumers are probably going to default, a lot of these consumers are not going to pay you back, knowing that, sure, they may have made a lot of money over the last couple of years, but I can almost guarantee they're going to have a pretty bad year, 2024, and even worse year in 2025. So when they're reducing these late fees, if you're a credit card company, would you want to continue to extend credit? Probably not, right? But this would then go in line with what they said right here, which would be right here, credit restraints. So it would actually work, in line. So Biden shifts blame away from the administration after admitting prices are still too high. In Canada, they're doing a very similar thing. Canada's Trudeau warns chains. Canadian leader says profits should not be made on the backs of people who are struggling to feed their families. This came out about 2 months ago. Then look at how this connects. This connects so well. This is about 2 years ago, a little 2.5 years ago. Biden opens a back door to universal basic income. So universal basic income a couple of years ago, sure, you had Elon, you had, Mark Zuckerberg, you had a lot of these billionaires saying, yeah, this is probably a good idea. And, back then it seemed far-fetched. It seemed like it would never happen. But in 2021, that may have been the case. But now look at where we're at. Guaranteed income programs in American cities have surged over the past year, rising to 82 participating cities across 29 states this year, up from 11 participating cities in 2021. So the same year in which they said this, went from 11 cities to 82 cities, right? Like a 750% jump in 2 years. So when you're looking at this, one day ago, Boston, a guaranteed basic income program for Boston's poor. You start to look at this 4 hours ago, Boston City Council listed the possibility of creating a universal basic income program. This is what's going to happen. So if you have a situation where inflation continues to run rampant, the economy continues to get worse, we're going to be walking into a situation of price controls and a universal basic income. Look at what Elizabeth Warren said. And funny enough, it says here, 2022, the proposal gives further life to price controls, right? City Journal introduced the Price Gouging Prevention Act of 2022, which would prohibit the practice of price gouging during all abnormal market disruptions, including the current pandemic, by authorizing the FTC and state attorney general to enforce a federal ban unconscionably excessive price, right? So think about this. If you own a business in America today, you're paying through the teeth for insurance on your business, for employee wages, for utilities for your business, for everything. I took my family out to a hole-in-the-wall restaurant in Florida, and I got a burrito, my wife got a burrito, kids got some kids tacos, $85, right? Things are out of control. I talked to the owner. I'm like, what were you paying a couple of years ago? He said, we were paying about 50% less across the board for everything, right? So if they're saying that inflation is 3%, 4%, and then you talk to small business owners like, yeah, our prices are through the roof, everything is extremely expensive, then what ultimately happens? People are getting forced out of business. That's what's happening, right? So I believe we're going to be walking into a situation, unfortunately, that many people can't wrap their head around just yet. But give it time. 2024, we're going to continue to see this push. And a universal basic income is going to be the one that, this device that's going to come out and everyone's going to say, yes, we need money, we need some type of help. But if businesses are being pushed out of business and people are then having their hands out, people then become the product, right? We're walking into a whole new America. A lot of change is going to be coming. And I think that a lot of people need to position themselves for a very uncertain world, a very unstable world. And I think that if you make very, very smart decisions over the next couple of years, you'll be able to isolate yourself a little bit more than maybe you otherwise would be able to. I think we're going to start to see a lot of people moving out of America, unfortunately. I think we're going to see a lot of people moving businesses, hiring employees out of America. We're going to start seeing people looking at money and wealth differently. They're going to be looking at ways in which how they can isolate themselves from insanity, crazy, chain of events and crazy circumstances that are being pushed on the world. So what do you think about this situation? Drop below We'll have a conversation about this. I personally believe we are going to see over the next couple of years a massive influx of people moving outside of America. We're going to start to see a lot of businesses starting to close down, and we're going to start seeing some businesses actually get a lot bigger as they start to acquire and grow and scale, because some of these businesses are going to have pricing power. Like how would a small business compete with Amazon? If they were to say, you know what, Amazon, you're only allowed to sell toilet paper or toothbrushes for X price, and a small business owner is paying Y, then how's that small business owner going to stay in business? They're not, right? This is what I think is very likely going to happen. 2024, 2025, we're going to start seeing more and more people demanding government assistance. They're going to be demanding some type of help. And a universal basic income seems like that vehicle that's going to get done. 82 cities, 29 states. This thing's happening. This is the new normal. Drop below. Let's have a conversation about it. If you'd like to fix your credit to position yourself for what I think is going to be the greatest rug pull in American history, we'd love to help fix your credit at my company, GreatCreditFast.com. That's GreatCreditFast.com. If you have late payments, medical bills, charge-offs, foreclosures, bankruptcies, repossessions, any negative item on your credit report, go to GreatCreditFast.com. Click the link in the description just below this video. Schedule a free strategy session. We'd love to help you. Love to see how we can help you. And go over your credit report together at GreatCreditFast.com. I'll catch you in the next video.